E aí, missionário, paz e bem no seu coração. Aqui quem vos fala é, claro, Jadson Cantuária. No vídeo de hoje eu quero dar início aqui no canal uma série de vídeos sobre testemunhas, né? Pessoas que estiveram no início, né, do movimento Renovação Carismática Atômica e hoje dão testemunhas do mover do Espírito Santo em suas vidas. Então, fica aí que hoje vamos falar de Pat Mansfield. Então, meus queridos, a Pat Mansfield, ela ficou como se fosse uma porta-voz, né, desse movimento que começou lá em Duquesne, né, no final de semana de Duquesne de 1967. Ela escreveu esse livro, né, como em Novo Pentecostes. A Renovação lançou esse livro em 2017, né, por ocasião dos 50 anos, né, do movimento no mundo. E a Pat, nesse livro, né, que eu já li, ela divide ele em três partes, né. A primeira parte, ela fala sobre os fundamentos, né, que levaram o nascimento desse movimento dentro da igreja, né, do mover do Espírito com mais intensidade dentro da igreja. E na segunda parte, ela coloca aqui testemunho de pessoas que tiveram lá no final de semana. E na terceira parte, ela coloca aqui testemunhos de pessoas que não estiveram no final de semana, mas que foram impactadas, né, pelas pessoas que estiveram lá naquela Universidade do Duquesne em 1967, né, naquele final de semana. Então, nesse primeiro vídeo, eu quero pegar, né, no começo dessa parte 2, né, que ela diz assim, não podemos deixar de falar, né? Eu quero pegar, então, o testemunho dela, né, da Pat Mansfield, para a gente iniciar essa série, né? Nos próximos vídeos eu irei, né, trazer aqui do próprio livro, né, os testemunhos, mas hoje eu quero deixar a própria Pat falar sobre esse final de semana, eu quero deixar ela falar para você, então fique aí com o vídeo da Pat Mansfield falando sobre esse final de semana, dando testemunho do mover do Espírito em sua vida. E não se esquece de se inscrever no canal, ativar as notificações e compartilhar esse vídeo com mais pessoas. Deus abençoe.
You know, when I was a little girl, I used to ask my mother over and over again, tell me the story of how you and Daddy met. Tell me the story of how you and Daddy fell in love. And so people ask me over all these years, do you ever get tired of telling the story of the Duquesne weekend? And I never do, honestly, because it's a love story. It was a co-ed retreat, and when I got there, I realized I left my makeup home. So here I was at this, you know, the guy who was the president was somebody I was very interested in. And here I had no makeup. So it was right from the very start, like the Lord getting my attention. You're not here to find a new boyfriend. You're here for a spiritual purpose. I was a public school kid. My parents grew up very poor, children of immigrants, went out to work in a factory when they were 14. So, I mean, Catholic school was out of the question for our family. I was the eldest of four. So I had never been on a retreat in my life. I went to Mass on Sunday, went to Sunday school, CYO, but I had never made a retreat. So I was full of a lot of fear and trepidation. I remember thinking, you know, what if God would want me to be a nun? I would die. Like, do I really want to get close to God? Because I had my whole life planned. It's like, you know, I loved French. I wanted to do a semester or summer in France, during which time in my plan I was going to meet a debonair Frenchman who would sweep me off my feet. We would be married, live happily ever after in his chateau. I mean, that was my plan for my life. So going on this retreat was scary for me. I would say I was excited, but more than excited, I was scared. And I like to tell people, why didn't I experience anything when I prayed alone in my room, Lord, if your Spirit can do more in my life than he's done till now, I want it. I don't think I experienced the baptism of the Spirit then because I had not yet surrendered my life to Jesus Christ. On the retreat, when I went up into that chapel, that's when I prayed to the Father. I said, Father, I give my life to you. Whatever you ask, I accept it. If it means suffering, I accept that too. Just teach me to follow your Son, Jesus, and to love the way Jesus loves. I think once I made that unconditional surrender, then the Lord was free to baptize me in the Spirit. That night, there were maybe 2 or 3 other students in there just quietly praying. There were no pews or chairs. It was just a few cushions. So I knelt down. I was just going to tell them, come on, we were having a birthday party. Come on down to the party. But when I knelt, I actually began to tremble. I felt like the sense of the awesomeness of God. I'd always believed Jesus was present in the Blessed Sacrament, in the tabernacle. He was not in a monstrance, in the tabernacle. But that night, in my flesh, I felt the presence of God was there. And I remember trembling a little and saying, what is this? What's happening to me? I better get out of here. And then the fellow that I mentioned, the president, knelt down and said, I don't know what's going on. It's something we didn't plan. He said, just stay here and pray. When he left, that's when I prayed that prayer of unconditional surrender in my heart, didn't pray out loud. The next moment, I found myself flat on my face. I was prostrate, my hands above my head. Somehow my shoes came off my feet in the process. And I felt this immersion in the love of God. I felt like I wanted to die, honestly. I felt like if this is heaven, I just want to die now. I don't want to stay here. And there's only one word that prayer that was on my mind, stay. I was saying to the Lord, stay, stay, don't ever leave me. As much as I wanted to just stay and bask in this love and mercy of God, I knew that night as a young 20-year-old girl, what I know now, almost 50 years later, that if I could experience the love, the presence, the mercy, the tenderness of God like that, anyone across the face of the earth could. So I got to my feet, I looked at these other kids just watching me there, and I said, I've experienced what we've been talking about this weekend. I pray this will happen to you. Jesus is alive. Jesus is real. Ran down, got the chaplain, poured out my story to him. So I said, well, Father, what should I do? Who should I tell? He said, the Lord's going to show you. So I left him, and two young girls who were newcomers to our group came up to me and told me that my face was glowing. They said, what came over you? You look different. Your face looks different. So I took these two gals by the hand. I said, I've experienced what we've been talking about. Come into the chapel with me. We knelt in the presence of Jesus in the tabernacle. I had no terminology. I'd never prayed out loud in my life like that. Prayers are just pouring out of me. I was saying, oh, Lord, whatever you just did for me, do it for them. Whatever that was, do it for them. And it was during that time of kneeling there that then I'd say about half the students, about 12 of us, were just sovereignly drawn into the chapel. As I said, some were weeping, some were laughing for joy. Others, like I felt my body was on fire, my hands, my arms, I just felt like it was tingling like fire. It's not my story. I like to tell people, I was there as a witness, but it's not my story. I didn't think it up. None of us planned this. And it's a way of showing that all the glory belongs to Him. It doesn't belong to us. It all belongs to Him.